Welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, what we are going to be discussing is the HTML head element. What constitutes the head element? What is the purpose of it? And how do we use it? So, the HTML head element is a container for other elements, right? Other metadata about the HTML documents and some of the uh, elements that go into the head we define as the title, right? The style, the meta, the link, the scripts, and the base. We've looked at some of them, but we're going to talk about it just a little bit more in this lesson. The first of these that we are going to be looking at is the title. So the title normally defines the title of the document. It's text only and it's shown in the browser's title bar as other pages tab. So normally if it's a tab, it just shows as the tab's title, something like that. So the title element is required in HTML documents. You need to have it, right? So the contents of a page title is very important. And normally for search engines to use, like for search engine optimization, SEO, right? So you really need to have it so it's easier for your pages to be searched, right? So we're going to look at some of the title elements, right? It defines a title in the browser toolbar, and it provides a title for the page when it's added to favorites. And finally, it displays a title for the page in search engine results. So let's have a simple HTML document and then let's see how the title fits into this. So I'm going to have my doc type and then I'm going to have my HTML and then I'm going to have my head, which is what we are talking about. And I'm going to have my body, not there, body, but I'm not gonna put anything into the body. I'm just gonna say, let me put a P here and just say something like, this is the body. There's some content. Okay. And so if I refresh this, and maybe I have to drag and drop this, this is the body. So that's what's showing in the body. So let's look at what the title is. As you can see, there's nothing showing. I'm gonna put the title and I'm gonna put title of HTML, and I'm gonna refresh this, and you can see in this tab here, you can see title of HTML, right? So that is the use of this. So you always have to have a title, so it's a meaningful title for your page, right? So whatever your page is supposed to do, the title should epitomize that behavior of your page. The next one we would look at is the style element, and the style element is where you put your styles for your page, right? If you are not using an external style sheet, inline styling, you can use the styles. You can just put whatever style you want for your HTML page in there. So I'm gonna use the style, and we have looked at a couple in the past, so this is not new. And in here, I'm gonna style the body, right? So I'm gonna say the body, and I'm gonna put the style, say background color, and I'm gonna say power blue, right? And then maybe header. I don't have a header, so I'm just gonna say P should be color of blue, right? And so if I refresh, sorry, if I refresh this, you have this. Let me uncomment this out. And then I have my P And I think I made a mistake because I put this in this. It should be out of this. So this is just for the body and this is for the p tag, right? So if I refresh just now, I should have the blue for the body and then the p having the blue. The power blue is for the whole body, right? So this is the style element, and you can put in the styles that you want over there. And then we can also have your link, right? And in here, you can link your file to an external. You can link external files to your file, like your style, right? So, for example, I can create a style called style.css, right? And in the style.css, let me just put the same body and p in there, right? And then in here, I can now have my style, my link, sorry, elements, and then put rel to define what kind of link this is. I put style sheet, and then the href to the style sheet. So my style rather dot css, right? And then I can close this. So I have this, right? So if even I remove this, I'm gonna comment this out and I refresh this, the style doesn't change because, and maybe I should change this up a little bit so we can see the difference. I'm gonna put a black. I don't know how good that is gonna look. Let me go green. Okay, and then I'm gonna change this to something like this. Okay, so if I refresh this now, I have this style, right? So it linked this HTML to the style sheet, right? So you can use the link element to define the relationship between your document and your external resource, which in this case is your style sheet, right? And then you have your meta, and your meta typically is used to specify the character set or your page description, keywords the author of the document wants you to know, and then your viewport settings, right? So what one thing about this metadata is it's not displayed on the page, so you don't see it, but the browsers know about it. The browsers use this, right? And search engines also use this, the keywords, right? And other web services use this metadata. So in order to define this, all you need to do is you have your meta, and you can put your car set, put it in the UTF-8, right? So that's what you can do. You can also put in, if you want to define uh, keywords for search engines, you can also use, so in this case, you can use something like the meta uh, name, and then you put in the keywords, right? And then your contents should be what? HTML, CSS, right? Something like that. And then you close this, right? So let me just do this for now, right? So you can have the name, which is the keywords, and you put in your contents, which is this, right? So let's just put all in one. We're gonna have your cost set here, and then your UTF-8. Okay, just like that, right? And then if you wanted a description of your web page, you can put the name, and then the description, and then your content, right? So, right, so I just put in a few more, right? You can have your keywords, you can have your name if you wanted to define the author of the page. You can have your name, and then the content should be the name of the author. So the author, and then the name of the author as the content, right? So you can have that also, right? If you wanted to specify the refresh rate, right, you can also put in there the HTTP equiv, which is like this, and you can specify that you want it to refresh every 30 seconds, right? So this is some examples of what's the meta that you can use, right, in your page. The final one we want to look at is your scripts. Or maybe that's not the final, but yeah. So the script is just how you specify, and we talked about this in the last lesson, how you specify the scripts that you want to use, like your JavaScripts, right? So in here, all you do is put in your head the scripts, right? So let's have an example of this, just to make sure we have not forgotten. We can put our scripts. Sorry, let's do it again. Script. Okay. And then in here, you can either put in a reference to an external script, or if you have whatever you want to put in there, you can just go ahead and type your script, right? So for example, you can put in there a function called my function, that what does it do? It does what document dots gets element by ID. Okay, and which element do we want to get? Maybe your P element. I just uncommented it out, but yeah, you can get whatever element that you want to get, which is in this case a P element, and then put dot inner HTML in case that's what you want to affect, and then maybe say hello world, something like that, right? So that's how, and we already talked about this, so that's how we can use the script element in here also, right? We're not going to talk too much about this because we already did. And then we can also look at the base element. And the base element is used to specify the base URL and the target for all relative URLs on the page, right? So you can have a base URL, and then you can have the relative URLs for all the other pages, right? So the tag must have either an href or a target attribute present, or you can have both of them. So just an example, right? And let me just make sure. Let me just, should I comment this out? Let me first do this. Okay. So let me first comment all this out, and then just do this. So let's have the head. Okay. And in here, we can have the base, and then we can have our href, right? Which you have to specify the base URL for this, right? So we can just say HTTPS, and there's one that I found here. So I'm just gonna use it. .com, and you specify the target, right? Okay, so you have specified this in the head. So in the body, we can have a source and have an href that gives you, you already have your base and then your other. So if I refresh this, I have my base tag and I have my image, right, and my base, right? So if I click the link, it gives me the full w3schools.com, right? And then it adds the tags slash tags underscore base dot asp. So you don't have to put in the whole URL because you already have the base URL. So all you need to do is to put in the other part of the URL, right? Other pages that exist on the server or on the main URL. Okay, so I think this, we talked about the head, we talked about the title, the style, the links, the meta. We looked at the script and then the base. So this is all what you'll be needing. Thank you for watching this. We'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.